It began with a simple wine cabinet, a wooden box, unassuming in its appearance. It looked like any other antique, perhaps a relic from a bygone era, a piece of history that had been forgotten over time. But within its unpolished exterior resided a darkness that defied explanation. It was as if the box itself was a portal to another realm, a place where shadows danced and secrets of the past lingered. This was no ordinary container. It was a vessel, a prison designed to hold something far more sinister than anyone could imagine. It was a prison, a vessel for something ancient and evil. The very air around it seemed to thicken with a malevolent presence, a sense of dread that was palpable to anyone who came near. It was known as the Dybbuk Box, and its story was one of tragedy, terror, and the haunting power of the unknown. The name itself sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it, a reminder of the dark forces that lurk just beyond the veil of our understanding. In Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a restless spirit, a malevolent entity that seeks refuge in the physical world by possessing the living. These spirits were said to be the souls of the dead who had not found peace, driven by a need for revenge or a desire to complete unfinished business. The Dybbuk Box, it was said, housed such a spirit, trapped within its wooden confines, desperate to break free. The spirit within was not just any Dybbuk, but one of immense power and malevolence, a force that had been contained for generations. The box's journey across continents and through time remained shrouded in mystery, its path marked by rumors of misfortune. It had passed through many hands, each owner experiencing a series of inexplicable events, a trail of bad luck that seemed to follow the box wherever it went. But its legend grew with each passing year, attracting the attention of those who sought to unravel its secrets, those who dared to confront the darkness that lay dormant within. Paranormal investigators, historians, and thrill-seekers alike were drawn to the box, each hoping to unlock its mysteries and perhaps gain some insight into the nature of the supernatural. Little did they know, the Dybbuk Box was waiting, its power coiled like a serpent, ready to strike at any who dared to disturb its slumber. The spirit within was patient, biding its time, waiting for the right moment to unleash its fury upon the world once more. Those who sought to understand the box often found themselves ensnared by its dark allure, unable to escape the grip of the malevolent force that lay within. Researchers and scholars who studied the box often reported strange occurrences, from inexplicable cold spots to the feeling of being watched. Some even claimed to have seen shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision, always just out of sight. Paranormal investigators who dared to interact with the box often found themselves plagued by nightmares, visions of a dark and twisted world where the boundaries between the living and the dead were blurred. They spoke of hearing voices in the night, voices that seemed to come from the very walls of their homes. In modern times, the Dybbuk Box continues to captivate and terrify those who encounter it. It serves as a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown, a testament to the enduring power of the supernatural. The box remains a symbol of the darkness that can reside within even the most unassuming of objects, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved.
Kevin Manis, an antique dealer with a penchant for the peculiar, first encountered the Dybbuk Box at an estate sale in Portland, Oregon. Kevin had always been drawn to items with a story, objects that seemed to carry a piece of history within them. His shop was filled with such treasures, each with its own unique tale, but nothing had ever intrigued him quite like this box. Intrigued by its strange aura and the hushed whispers surrounding its origins, he felt an inexplicable pull towards the unassuming wooden box. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The box seemed to emanate a strange energy, a kind of magnetic pull that he couldn't resist. The other attendees at the sale seemed to avoid it, casting wary glances in its direction, but Kevin was captivated. It was as if the box itself beckoned him, whispering promises of untold stories and forgotten secrets. Kevin could almost hear the faint whispers, like echoes from a distant past, calling out to him. He felt a deep, almost primal urge to uncover the mysteries hidden within the box. It was a feeling he couldn't shake, a curiosity that gnawed at him. Ignoring the warnings of those around him, Kevin purchased the box, unaware of the Pandora's box he was about to unleash. Friends and fellow dealers cautioned him, saying that some things are better left untouched. but his curiosity got the better of him. He was determined to unlock the secrets of the Dybbuk Box, no matter the cost. He brought it back to his shop, placing it among his other curiosities. The moment he set it down, he felt a shift in the atmosphere. It was as if the box had a presence, a life of its own. He couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. What had he brought into his shop? Its dark energy was a stark contrast to the otherwise vibrant atmosphere. His shop, usually filled with light and warmth, seemed to grow colder and dimmer. The box seemed to absorb the light around it, casting long, eerie shadows. It was as if the box was a black hole, drawing in all the positive energy and leaving behind a void. As days turned into nights, Kevin began to notice strange occurrences, subtle at first, like shadows dancing at the edge of his vision. He would catch glimpses of movement out of the corner of his eye, but when he turned to look, there was nothing there. Dust motes seemed to swirl in patterns that defied logic, creating shapes that vanished as quickly as they appeared, and an unsettling feeling of being watched. It was a constant nagging sensation, as if unseen eyes were always on him. He would often look over his shoulder, expecting to find someone standing there, but he was always alone. The feeling grew stronger with each passing day, making it difficult for him to focus on his work. Then, the nightmares began. Vivid, terrifying dreams plagued his sleep, leaving him drenched in a cold sweat. In these dreams, he found himself in dark, unfamiliar places, surrounded by shadows that seemed to move and breathe. He would wake up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, unable to shake the feeling of dread. In these nightmares, he would see a horrifying figure, a grotesque visage with eyes that burned with an infernal fire. The figure seemed to be a manifestation of pure evil, its presence suffocating and overwhelming. Kevin could feel its malevolent gaze piercing through him, filling him with a sense of impending doom. The figure would speak to him in a language he didn't understand, its voice a guttural rasp that sent shivers down his spine. The words were harsh and grating, like the sound of metal scraping against stone. Even though he couldn't understand the language, he could sense the malice and hatred in every syllable. It was a voice filled with malice, a voice that spoke of unspeakable things. The words seemed to echo in his mind long after he woke up, leaving him with a lingering sense of fear and unease. Kevin knew that he had unleashed something dark and dangerous, something that he couldn't control. The Dybbuk Box had become more than just a curiosity. It was a curse that he couldn't escape. Kevin's unease grew with each passing day, the strange occurrences intensifying. It started with small, almost imperceptible things, a book falling off a shelf, a picture frame tilting slightly, but soon these minor disturbances escalated into something far more sinister. Objects began to move on their own, lights flickered and died, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. The air grew thick with an unexplainable tension, as if the very atmosphere was charged with a malevolent energy, and a foul odor like that of decay and despair permeated the air around the box. It was a smell that clung to everything, seeping into the walls and furniture, making it impossible to ignore. Kevin tried to rationalize it, thinking perhaps a rodent had died within the walls, but deep down, he knew the truth. It was as if the box was weeping, its sorrow manifesting as a tangible presence in Kevin's life. Then, tragedy struck. The sorrow seemed to seep into his very soul, affecting his mood and thoughts. He found himself growing more irritable, more paranoid, as if the box was feeding off his fear and amplifying it. Kevin's mother suffered a debilitating stroke while visiting his shop. The news hit him like a freight train, leaving him reeling and disoriented. He rushed to the hospital, his mind a whirlwind of fear and guilt. As she lay helpless in the hospital, he watched in horror as she attempted to communicate, her words garbled and slurred. It was as if the stroke had stolen not just her ability to speak, but her very essence. The vibrant, strong woman he had known was now a shadow of her former self. In her eyes, he saw a reflection of the terror that had taken root in his own heart. Her eyes, once filled with warmth and love, were now wide with fear, mirroring the dread that had become a constant companion in his life. She mouthed a single word, a word that sent chills down his spine. Box. It was a word that carried with it the weight of all the horrors he had experienced. It was a word that confirmed his deepest fears. Desperate to rid himself of the cursed object, Kevin gifted the Dybbuk Box to his mother, hoping that by passing it on, he could free himself from its grip. He believed that the box's malevolent influence would be diluted by distance, that his mother would be safe from its curse. Unaware of the terrible mistake he was making, he had underestimated the box's power. its ability to reach across distances and continue its reign of terror. He had hoped for peace, but instead he had only spread the darkness. Desperate to break free from the curse, Kevin sought solace in the written word. He penned a detailed account of his experiences, hoping to lessen the burden of his terrifying encounter. His account caught the attention of Jason Haxton, director of the Museum of Osteopathic Medicine. Kevin, relieved to find someone willing to take the box, readily agreed. He shipped the box to Jason with a stern warning to treat it with respect and caution.